Chapter 13. An Amalgamation of Sensations. Foxgloves. There was in fact a makeshift sleepover that night, such as the ordinance of broken-hearted best friends. Immediately after Rose got back to her house, she had called Jade, having sensed that something had gone horribly wrong that day. Sure enough, her friend had found herself nursing her hurt feelings, and Rose drove right back over. And Jade sobbed, "I'm so stupid for being sad. What's wrong with me?" Jade, it's okay. Shh. After hearing the full story, Rose found the ordeal incredibly silly, especially after the not surprising revelation of Jade's puppy love for Dave. What was surprising, however, was the extent of how fond she'd grown of him. Rose hadn't expected for her to like him as much as he liked her. That was the real kicker. It seems as though it had gone down like this. Jade, as oblivious as ever, had no inkling or even idea that Dave liked her romantically. She had taken a major leap of faith and put herself, thrown herself at full speed out there, and he hadn't said anything back in response. Jade had reached the conclusion that he didn't feel the same way whatsoever and was caught dreadfully off guard, warranting the weird response he had given. How ironic, considering Rose knew very well that Dave was smitten with her friend, although she had no idea why he acted so weird. There was most certainly a side of the story she was not getting. The gears of thought churned quickly in Rose's mind. To tell or not to tell? No, Rose wouldn't make it so easy. The idiot Strider had gotten himself into this mess, and darn it, he was going to get himself out. To have the news come from Rose's mouth and not Dave himself was incredibly anticlimactic. And knowing Jade pretty well, she probably wouldn't believe it anyways and would assume she was feeding her sweet nothingness to ease her pain. Accuse her of overcomplicating things, but with Rose, what else would you expect? She patted Jade's back, doing her best to comfort her friend, but not entirely knowing how to do so. This sort of thing wasn't exactly her specialty. Analyzing problems and talking through issues, sure, that was a breeze. But calming down an embarrassed, emotional teenage girl? Not exactly. To say something like, "You're way too good for that dork," or "What an idiot," would be counterproductive, as Rose knew how much Jade had liked him, as well as that things were going to work out somehow and dogging him was not a good move. Likewise, to go ahead and sprout syrupy sweet sentiments and cloying statements of Dave's true feelings would be a total cop-out. That part was going to come straight from Dave's lips, even if she had to strangle him to get it out. Rather than say anything at all, she simply picked up a box from the pile of DVDs and board games and other routine sleepover fodder on the floor. "Shh," she soothed. Let's not think about it at all for now, okay? Let's just play this blithely ridiculous game together and forget all about the stupidity of boys for a while." Jade sniffled, ceasing her blubbering for a moment. "Boop it?" Ah yes, nothing heals a broken heart quite like a rigorous round of Boop It. The game was eerily similar to Bop It, the classic Simon Says game beloved by millions. However, Rose and Jade had discovered this cheap, cheesy bootleg knockoff version at the local dollar store years ago, so entertained by it that they had to buy it. Since then, the nonsensical fun had become a tradition between the two. Rose pressed the ugly day-glow orange power button, the paint chipping away. A familiar audio sound clip played out of the speaker. "It's time to be playing the enjoyment of the new Boop It! Prepare!" Even after all these years, they still laughed every single time. Dave, 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 do you always shatter the hearts of wanton young maidens, or is this a first? I have no idea what happened. I froze up, okay? I still have no idea what to do or what's going on. I barely slept since Saturday. That Monday morning, Rose had cornered Dave first thing and began giving him the Spanish Inquisition. He had tried to get a hold of her all day Sunday, desperately seeking advice in any form, in a panic. It was only now that she was getting the full story. She started saying really weird things that surprised me and... Wait, shatter the hearts of wanton young maidens? What do you mean by that? The blood drained from his face, becoming pale. How much more bluntly can I put it? Let's see, other words for heartbroken off the top of my head. Crestfallen, crushed, disappointed, miserable, sorrowful. An amalgamation of sensations tugged at his heartstrings, one being total and complete despair at the idea of having hurt Jade, and the other feeling being an overwhelming sense of ecstasy at the idea that she felt anything at all in reciprocation in regards to his feelings for her. He was going to be sick. I messed up. Big time. I have to go right now. I have to fix this. Whoa there, buckaroo. Don't run out and screw things up again. We need to formulate a plan to salvage whatever left we can. I'm freaking sick of plans. That was your first mistake. Listening to John. What were you thinking? I don't know who was more of a goofball, you or him. She rubbed her temples. Well, newsflash, I didn't have much of a choice. I was blackmailed. She sighed. That's true. Look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fix this in as soon as we possibly can. Leave all your love problems to me from now on, okay? I'm not going to let you besmirch poor Jade's feelings anymore. Forget everything John told you, seeing how it's all inadequate. He could have slammed his head against the wall. Why should I be standing around? I should run out there, run to her before class, and what? Make a fool of yourself a second time? The insecurity stemming from his lack of experience gave him half a mind to listen. All right, he admitted defeat. Tell me what to say. Jade hadn't seen Dave all morning. Not that she'd been looking for him. Quite the opposite. She wasn't about to stay home. Oh, far from that. Even though her heart felt raw and bruised and beaten, she wasn't about to let this dictate what she would or would not do. She realized now that garden club was top priority, and because she had slightly shirked this duty to lollygag around and make goo-goo eyes at a boy, she had ended up feeling this way. She's not about to make that mistake again. But she couldn't shake this horrid, awful feeling. If first love had been heavenly, well, first heartbreak had been absolutely wretched. Stupid hormones. This will be the last time I'll ever let this happen, Jade resolved. The overcompensation of peppiness to cover up her inward state was very draining. She couldn't keep it up for long at all. Whether she realized that or not, she had been slumping around as though one singular gray rain cloud was following her overhead and she was without an umbrella. Her green eyes were filled with sadness as she trudged through the hallway to the bathroom. Jade? Oh, hey, Pfeffery. The lover of all things aquatic stood before her on crutches. She had taken a recent leg injury in the pool and had to resign temporarily from leading the swim club. She was slow on her feet, crutches, but Jade had no doubt she'd be back into shape as soon as possible. You just cannot keep a girl like Pfeffery down for even short periods of time, a characteristic Jade was immensely envious of. I was wondering if everything was okay. Huh? You seem awfully down this morning. Did some doofus try to mess with you? Pfeffery giggled at her own fish pun, eternally amused with her nautical-themed wit. Oh no, nothing like that. Thanks so much for asking, though. Jade tried to give an earnest smile, but could tell it fell very flat. Okay, Jade, but I know something's wrong, and if there's anybody you can talk to about it, it's me. You minnow. Tee-hee. Thank you, Pfeffery, she repeated. I guess I got rejected for the first time, that's all. What? Before she knew it, Jade was enveloped in a semi-awkward, loving hug right there in the privacy of the bathroom. She wasn't sure whether it was this unexpected bout of kindness or the lack of sleep she got last night, but it was like the carefully constructed wall holding her emotions and thoughts and tears back had crumbled and crashed down. Big, wet tears rolled off her cheeks and dripped into Pfeffery's hot pink sweater. I'm sorry, this is so embarrassing. No, not in the slightest. Relationships, they can be so tough. Bereave me, I know. You deserve to spill your feelings, okay? Don't keep them all bottled up inside. Jade pulled away and wiped her tears off her face. Thank you so much. I needed that. I feel much better now, she thanked. You're really cool, Pfeffery. You too, Jade. And I know you'll feel better soon. A vibrating came from the back pocket of the girl's jeans. Ugh, Eridan, stop texting me. Jade gave a little laugh. Now you want to talk about a real doofus? He's locked himself out of his locker again. I'd better go help him. She smiled and crutched her way out of the bathroom, leaving Jade alone. She waited for a few minutes, making sure the few tears she had cried were dried up enough that no one could tell. Her mind pondered, feeling heavy. She couldn't deny that this didn't change how she felt about Dave, and she hoped and prayed that he could forget the incident. She may not have been able to be the object of his affections, but if they could still be friends, she'd be grateful beyond belief to be with him. While she may have felt bittersweet, she wasn't angry or anything. There wasn't any way he would ever like a girl like her in the end, after all. She headed back out into the hallways. By the time lunch period had rolled around, Dave had been a frantic mess. This was the moment of truth. He'd set everything right now. He ran right for the outdoor gated area where he knew Jade would be. She always ate in the garden, naturally. He approached the doors, took a deep breath, and stepped out. Jade, nope, just me right now. Oh, hey, Terzi. I didn't know you were in a garden club. Yeah, sorry about leaving Apex, by the way. Psh, I couldn't care less. Music club sucks anyway. Anyway, where's Jade? Well, John and Rose will be here in a second. They're always late dorks. And Jade hasn't gotten her lunch yet, I gather. She should be here any second. As for me, I'm watering these peonies because she'll kick my butt if I don't. He chuckled, picturing Jade kicking butt over flowers. A wildly amusing thought, like she's some sort of Lorax. Hand me the other watering can, will ya? It's over there. Of course. Wait, Dave, watch out for those spades! Right on cue, he tripped over the little shovels in the ground, toppling downwards and taking Terezi with him. He had landed right on top of her, but thankfully, he had kept his arms out, stopping him and leaving his face inches away from hers. "Hey, did you finish watering the peonies like I asked?" No! Jade stood wide-eyed and bewildered, staring down at the misunderstood scene on the ground with hurt in her eyes. Dave pushed himself off the ground, springing upward in an instant. "Wait, Jade, no, I can explain. I didn't know you two were dating. But regardless, garden club isn't makeout time. I'll have to ask you two to leave if you want to keep it up." She had to feign a calm attitude when she was really screaming and ripping her heart to pieces on the inside. "Nonchalant, Jade. Just be nonchalant. Keep your cool as much as you can." "Jade, it's not what it—" John and Rose came in at that moment, interrupting him as they discussed some matter with fervent intensity. "Oh, hey, Jade. Miss Paint wants to see you in her office." "Thanks, John." She took the opportunity gladly and got up, leaving her lunch at the picnic table and fleeing the scene. "Wait!" Dave ran after her. "What just happened?" Terezi remained incredulously on the ground. "What?" John and Rose gazed down at her. "Intense junk, that's what." "What do you mean? What's going on?" John questioned. "Well, Dave tripped and landed on me, and then Jade came in and thought we were making out, and now I have a huge wedgie up my butt from the fall. Gosh." "What?" "Don't worry, I can pull it out," Terezi assured. John flipped his head back to Rose, continuing the argument from earlier. "See, all the more reason for us to take control. He literally messes up left and right when we don't help him." "No, he screws it up when we do help him. Leave them alone. They'll work this out. At the very maximum, I'm the only one to be helping." "But you had your chance, mister." "Jade, stop. Jade, just listen to me. It was an accident." I've got places to be, Dave. Let me through. I don't care if you're smooching all over her. Just don't do it in the dang garden." "But I swear I didn't mean to." "I saw it. No need to try to act like you didn't. Sheesh. I won't get you in trouble as long as you knock it off." "I didn't do anything." Okay, cool. Now, toodles." No more running off. Jade, I like you, okay?" He said it. He had really said it. No blushing or stammering. There weren't any theatrics or overly cloying sappy monologues. Just the truth. She just stared at him. "Do you think this is funny? Taking advantage of all the girls who take interest in you? Like a joke? Not okay." She wanted to break into a furor, feeling incredibly angry at him. Who did this guy think he was? All the anger she had felt from before came seeping back, oozing through her veins. She had to keep calm, keep cool. She'd been warned before about guys like this. Heck, even John reassured her that he was no good. And if you can't trust your cousin, who can you trust? Jade bet he'd flashed his eyes and sweet smile at a whole bunch of girls, pulling the "don't tell anyone, this is our secret" act on a plethora of them. Every nuance and joke, it was all a part of the grand scheme, wasn't it? She had to hold back tears for what felt like the 40th time that week. All Dave Strider came with was tears and pain and embarrassment, and she'd had enough. She asserted her way through the human barricade he had made and took off running, as though she were a child. Jade, come back! Please believe me! At least hear me out! Jade, don't!" You just can't trust a Strider. The last time John had put a sneaky plan into action from the glow of his computer screen, it was to humiliate Dave. And now, somehow, he was working to save him. The link clearly had a date and timestamp embedded within it. He wrote this song way before Jade was even talking to him. For once, Rose was totally wrong, and he was right, and his meddling was going to save the day. John finished addressing the email to his cousin and gave it one last look over. "Jade, no one's putting me up to this or anything. Just thought you might like to give this a lesson." John. He clicked send and hoped for the best.